So, looking at section 2 of Speak, we are looking at how Melinda seems to be uh, asked from help from others. Okay, and then in the start of 3, we're actually kind of seeing her not really asking for help, but needing help. But it seems that throughout section 2, people want things from her. So, the gym teacher wants her to help with the basketball team. Heather wants her to help with the posters. Neither of the things leave Melinda with pride or sense of recognition because they're both for the benefit of others, right? The basketball team will be better, but no one's going to say Melinda taught them. The posters are going to be created for fundraiser. Again, there's no recognition to Melinda because Heather takes the I don't know. She takes the responsibility for it, and then it ends up that the Marthas, sorry, didn't even like the posters, and so then she still didn't even take up for her and just said like, "Oh, I'm sorry, they're ugly," which again just pushes Melinda further away and upsets her more. So her parents even use her for work at their jobs. I mean, we see her folding the clothes in her mom's store. We see her doing some office work for her dad. And it seems that they don't like the way she's doing them. And so it's kind of like, well, she's a child anyway. She's not trained in these professions. And they're kind of pushing her to do their work and using her just like it seems everyone has been doing. But again, using her, but pushing her away, and also not even focus on the fact that she has been upset, she's been distant, she's been silent. I mean, we haven't heard her talk. I mean, a little bit, but really not. And it seems no one has questioned it. When we know someone, especially if we know that they weren't like that before, we'd reach out. We say, okay, what's going on? You know, what can I do for you? What can I say or how can I be there for you? And it doesn't seem that anyone has asked Melinda if she needed help or anything, if anything was going on. At the beginning, I was thinking that Melinda had a bad outlook on life. I honestly did think she had an attitude. I was thinking, why is she treating people like this? They're there for her. But now that I've continued to read, you know, my opinions have changed on these characters. I'm thinking, wow, they're actually the ones that are being selfish. I mean, her parents are selfish, her friends. I mean, she really only has Heather, and it seems that Heather looks out for herself. She wants popularity, and we see sadly in section 3 that Heather doesn't want to be her friends anymore. And so again, that's just one less person. Now and even her teachers. I mean, at first I'm thinking, wow, she has a bad attitude. Like I would be annoyed with her too. But then it's like these teachers don't give her a chance. They don't question her. They just look down on her. And even the guidance counselor, you know, we have really awesome guidance counselors, and most schools do, and there's someone you want to be able to go to. Now we see Melinda doesn't really reach out herself for help. Like it's more like I hope someone notices, but she doesn't say, hey, I'm depressed, this happened to me, and so on and so forth. But the guidance counselor we do see try to reach out to her, but there's really no connection there. The really big rapport, the communication relationship we see is between Melinda and her art teacher. Okay, she thinks that he gets her, she gets him. She actually thinks like maybe I could be an artist. She loves the way he thinks, the way he runs the class, and that's always, you know, that should be the goal for teachers to have, you know, something, being that person that students feel they can look up to and come to, and the class that gets them away for the rest of the day. And so that's how he's really the only positive support she has. Let me see what else I have. I wrote here. I think that if she could hold on, okay, so just going back to the idea of art and the teacher and how that's like her saving grace. And I think that if she can hold on to that and she can hold on to her art and focus on it, then she can overcome. You know, if you have one thing that's worth losing, those thoughts that you have, maybe they're hard. We see Melinda that she starts to cut herself. For some, that can be super triggering. We see that she feels alone, and she feels like if she could hurt herself, even if she feels an ounce of pain, maybe she can still feel. And she can let out those feelings without having to go through anything harder. I mean, that's how she feels in her mind. And so, but a lot of times, if people feel depression or they feel anxiety, if there's one thing that you can hold on to, then that could get you. It could get you through things. And so for me, something that is always really important to me is music, right? I mean, you could see back here I have, and this is my office room, but I have all these posters from my concerts, and you guys know concerts are my life. So for me, I mean, I love to go to concerts, like that keeps me going. Also, school kept me going. I loved English, obviously. I love education. And so just having something to work towards, right? Like, I'm going to be a teacher. And so her idea of art, she's thinking, well, maybe I could be an artist. You know, she loves to go to art class. She doesn't skip that. She loves trying to create. Now, she does get frustrated with herself, but she's always like, I need to fix this, you know, when she's creating the tree and the sculpture and things like that. And art imitates life. And so she's trying to create something that represents her, and her teacher sees that, you know, he's there for her, and he's thinking that her artwork is beautiful, and that she can express herself that way. And so maybe you can express yourself also through writing, even through reading, you know, as we connect ourselves to the characters and connect ourselves to different things that we've read. And so it's always important to hold on to something. Now, the moment that she loses that or she doesn't care is a moment to fear. Again, she skips school, and in section 3, we're going to see where people start to notice that. But in section 2, I mean, we're still seeing like she's missing classes, she's missing school, her grades are down, and it still feels to me that there's not this heavy, like, what's going on with you, sit down. It's more of an annoyance to her parents, to her teachers. She's just a bad kid. And a lot of times we even see that maybe in your classmates, maybe in yourself. You're thinking people are against you, or and I hate that, you know, I'd hate to hear the bad kid, because I think everyone can make mistakes, but everyone has something going on in their life we don't know about. You know, we don't know what happened to her yet, but we can kind of gauge that something awful did happen that had changed her, right? In the summer, she called the cops. That's why we know no one likes her. And people are against her, even her friends. And so the fact that she's losing these things and she thinks that she's a nobody, I mean, she turns the mirror away, she can't even look at herself. So she feels down about herself, and she doesn't question when people are also treating her that way, because she feels worthless and not worthy of their relationships and their care for her. And so in that mindset, you know, she's going to put herself down even more. And so that's why you want something, you always want to build people up. I try to build you guys up. I'm like, great job, you're doing so well. And even if, you know, you could make a mistake, I'm like, you know what, I know that maybe things have been tough, but let's get it together. And so I've not seen really anyone to talk to her that way. And so it kind of made me look at myself, you know, as a teacher. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't want to be a teacher. You know, I hope I haven't done that, push someone away. Or I thought to myself, you know what, maybe I should have reached out to that kid before. Or even back in the day when I was in high school, you know, maybe I could have talked to so-and-so more. And so it does really make, you know, this book really does make you think about yourself in terms of a student, a friend, as a teacher, in terms of even, you know, your own, you know, depression or your sadness, and maybe different things that have happened in your life, you know, that you keep to yourself, which definitely are your secrets. You know, we don't have to hear what happens to her, but the term, you know, we have our title, which is Speak. So hopefully we can make some predictions that she does come out and try to reach for help or tell her story, and then we can see her really, you know, progress from that. So you guys are doing great, and we're almost done. I mean, it's an easy read. I love it so far. I mean, I haven't read it. I've read it, but up until this point, when we decided to do it as a class, you know what, I was like, you know what, I'm going to read this book and then teach it. And so I really love it, and I can't wait to see the rest of it.